You find yourself enjoying a cool, crisp autumn day. The sun is shining, and a cool breeze feels great as you soar high above the forest as an eagle. You happen to look down, and you notice a band of enemy warriors advancing on a goat herd that belongs to your village. There's certainly more of them than there is of you, but you're not concerned. You've got this. You find a hidden spot to land, and you turn back into your human form and cast a spell. You look up into the sky to notice dark storm clouds begin to form over this band of warriors, and a bolt of lightning smacks into the earth, knocking a bunch of them out. You turn into a direwolf and just watch as the enemies are kind of looking at each other, confused as to what's going on. You begin to let out a ferocious growl as you charge in, knocking one of them to the ground, and you begin to tear into them with your fangs. They draw their weapons. One of them swings at you with a blade, and it slices you a little bit. You let out a howl of pain, but you've been through worse. You pounce onto another one at the same time. Another bolt of lightning hits another group of them, knocking them to the ground as your fangs tear into the throat of this other enemy. There's one more kind of just staring at you, who now is kind of just unsure what to do. You can see fear in his eyes as he begins to back away. And at that point, you feel two arrows sink into your flesh, and you realize that they've taken you out. But have they? You look down and you see your human form, barely feeling any scratches at all. And your eyes meet that other warrior who is retreating, and you can tell this is it, because he has now backed into those other two archers, and a last bolt of lightning crashes into the earth, knocking the three of them to the ground, and all of your enemies have been defeated right there at your feet. I'm Jake from JNJtabletop, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Druid. Druids in Dungeons and Dragons are this kind of like nature priest / wizard, and they get their abilities and spells through this like ancient primal magic that just exists in nature. There's easily a whole bunch of examples that you could find of druids, whether it's in modern media or history. So we'll just go over a few today, one of which I think Radagast the Brown from Lord of the Rings is an excellent example. This guy is found in nature, and he's usually chilling in a sleigh pulled by like squirrels and rabbits and stuff. And I tend to kind of think of him as like an organic Santa Claus. You know, gotta keep it natural. Also, Merlin, many depictions of him show him to be a nature priest with these elemental powers at his command that easily reflect a druid. But I think my favorite example would be the character Maui from Moana. Now, the reason why I like this and why I made the intro sound so primal and warrior-like is it's very easy to look at a druid as someone that's kind of this like peace-loving, like let's all get along kind of a character. But when I think of a druid, I think of nature, and when I think of nature, I think of things like survival of the fittest. I think, what does it look like when a lion takes down its prey? That's not very peaceful. There's this just primal warrior element in the very nature and foundation of a druid that I think really makes them very compelling and a very fun character class to play. Druids are very powerful spellcasters. Since their magic is rooted in nature, you really can find them filling almost any role in the party, from controlling the battlefield, supporting their allies, debuffing their enemies, and even outside of a cleric, they may be the strongest healing class in the game. The most signature thing that a druid does is turn into other animals, and that's their wild shape ability. So this is another thing that makes them very versatile. If you can find an animal that can do something, you can do something as a druid. That can be anything from soaring above the forest as an eagle, turning into a wolf and attacking your enemies, turning into a tiny little mouse and just kind of crawling through an enemy dungeon undetected, or maybe even turning into a shark and swimming through the water to be able to find something. the possibilities really are endless when it comes to wild shape. There is one role that you just typically don't see a druid try to fill, and that's be the party face. They're usually not the ones doing the talking. And I think it makes sense when you really think about it. So, have this nature and primal theme to them, meaning they probably spend less time in a civilized town or civilized region than the other classes do, which means they probably just don't bathe as much. And who wants the stinky person doing the talking? At level 2, as a druid, you get to choose what druidic circle you belong to, which is your subclass. Now, there's 2 options in the player's handbook. You've got the Circle of the Land, which focuses on magic, and the Circle of the Moon, which focuses on combat options for your wild shape. Now, this really actually adds a very nice tanky element to your druid, and eventually, you even turn into different elementals. So, you want to literally be made of fire, earth, water, or air? Go Circle of the Moon. When it comes to building your druid, make sure you put your highest stat in Wisdom. This will make sure that your magic is nice and strong and difficult for your enemies to overcome. Next, I would go Constitution, so you have as many hit points as you can, and you have an easier time succeeding on concentration checks. And if you're not sure what race to play, I'd like to suggest either a human or a wood elf. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about playing a druid, maybe you have some ideas about a druid that you'd like to share, or maybe you even just want to say hello, go ahead and head down the comments section and feel free to do that. If you're interested in future content, please subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so you're always notified when a new video goes live. Also, we have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JNJtabletop where you get to see our live gameplay and D&D discussions. We're going to have links to our Twitch channel, our social media accounts, as well as any other helpful resources we can think of in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And remember, when in doubt, go primal. Take care, everyone.